Alice Schroeder, a top-ranked Wall Street analyst formerly and the author of the book about Warren Buffett called The Snowball, startled a lot of people a couple of weeks ago by writing a Bloomberg News column in which it seemed to me you were saying that most people who do well and make a living on Wall Street have to cheat to do that. Is that exactly what you were saying?
Yeah, what I said is it's hard to make a legal living on Wall Street. Not that you can't. In fact, I said there are a lot of honest, hardworking people who don't cheat, but rather that it's an impediment if you don't, because the system's stacked in favor of those who do.
Well, let's start with the honest side. So you worked on Wall Street for a long time,
Yes.
tremendously successful.
Yes.
Did you cheat?
No, but I was under constant pressure to give the first call to important clients, to give some indication of what my conviction was on a rating. Frankly, that's cheating. And, you know, I did do that. Of course, you did that. We all did that. You know, anytime you tell an institutional investor how strong your conviction is on a rating, that's cheating.
In a fashion. I mean, to me, it's the ludicrousness of this idea that it's a level playing
Well, that's
field,
right.
and the fact that you spend an hour with a CEO and you ask him a question and he winces, doesn't get into an SEC filing, but boy, does it tell you a boatload of information.
Yeah.
So to me, it's the ludicrousness of the idea that it's perfectly level and fair. But I mean, that's cheating. That's a very low level if that's what cheating is. I mean, so what you're saying, you know, the whole Raj galley and insider trading thing, do you feel like that's rampant?
No. And part of what I wrote was a criticism of the fallacy of the level playing field, because small investors are totally treated differently and unfairly compared to big investors, but it's pay for play. And the laws tend to behave as though that economic reality shouldn't exist, and they get more and more that way all the time. And, you know, we really can't have a system where we try to criminalize economically rational behavior, but it's getting harder and harder to follow the rules. So that's what I wrote. It's, you know, and it's true that small investors are not on a level playing field.
Absolutely not. And to me, that's the most important point, is that it's just crazy. And yet every day it seems like we try to maintain this fiction that that's the case. And certainly we both worked there for a long time. And I think that's probably the most harmful lesson that small investors are hit with every day. Is, oh, we're just going to do this and then it'll be a level playing field. It's crazy.
I was besieged by emails from financial advisors who are in just torment over this issue after I wrote this column.
Meaning what?
You know, they feel that they cannot serve their clients. They're under pressure from their firms to sell products that are inappropriate or just for fees. They know that they're not getting the right, you know, the same level of service from their firms, and they feel conflicted.
So given that, the pressures, the fact that there's no level playing field and so forth, what should small investors do?
You know, there's not a great answer other than, for one thing, don't think that you can pick stocks and beat the market. Make sure you minimize fees and understand how the other guy's getting paid. Look for index funds. You know, those are things I can do. And you know, for example, if you've got a wrap account and you're sitting in cash, and you're earning 0.5% on the cash, don't be paying a 1% wrap fee to your advisor. Simple things.
That's right. And on the index funds, the opponents of index funds will always say, oh, but it's just boring. It's the pursuit of mediocrity. You know, you've been, again, on Wall Street for a long, long time, and yet you're saying this is the smart way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of just sort of mindless indexing and dollar cost averaging, because when the market is overvalued, I think you need to sell. And I think mindless dollar cost averaging can be very bad. But at the same time, you know, small investors are not going to beat the market.
They're not. Most professionals don't,
That's
even
right.
the ones who are cheating.
That's right. That's right. And that's why the incentive to cheat so high. There's not enough alpha.
Thanks.